Om yo brahmanam vidadhati purvam yo vai vedanscha prahinoti tasmai tamha devamatma buddhi prakasham mumukshurvai sharanamaham prapadye. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartribhyo Vamshashakyo Mahadyo Namo Gurubhyaha Sarvopaplavarahita Prajnanagana Pratyagartho Brahmaivahamasmi Brahmaivahamasmi. Vedantartha-vibhasakaya Gurave Shantaya Sannyasine Nanavadi Nagendra Sankapavaye Yogi Vandyaya Cha Mohatmatadivakaraya Bhagavad Vidhan Viddhate Tasmai Bhashyate Namostu Satatam Purnaya Bodhatmane. Brahmanam yad prasadena Mayi Vishwam Prakalpitam Srimad Swayam Prakashakhyam Pranavami Jagatam Gurum Yah Paramatma Jagat Srishtva Pravivesha Punasvayam Tam Krishnam Pratyagatmanam Vande Gopi Manoharam Yasya prasadad amadvayatma Vishwam samastam mayi kalpitancha Tan sarvalokaika gurum sadashri Swayam prakasham gurumanatosmi Gurunam charanam bhojam Pranipatya nirantaram Tatkripa-leshatu dvaita Chinta kaustu kumaraveyo. Now, in enumerating the elements of Puryashtakam, meaning the cluster of 8 settlements, Puryashtakam. It is an ashtakam of 8 Puris. Puri meaning a town, a settlement, a complex settlement. It is not a small hamlet or a village, but it is a proper settlement with, transactions possible of various kinds. So therefore it is a city. Now, they have said the settled body also is called as this Puryashtakam. Actually, just not the settled body. Where did we begin? One second. Etadev Sukshma Shariram Avidya Kama Karma Sahitam Puryashtakam iti uchyate. The subtle body with now look at that. The subtle body is not called as Puryashtakam. Puryashtakam has subtle body as one of the elements. The 5 constituents of the subtle body plus avidya, kama and karma. These 3 together is called as Puryashtakam. Etadeva Sukshma Shariram Avidya Kama Karma Sahitam Puryashtakam Iti Uchyate, in which we have now dealt with avidya. And in that avidya also we have seen what is karya avidya. And in that karya avidya, when it was said that when a person cognizes something that is impermanent, necessarily impermanent as permanent, some as something that is a dukkha rupam, huh? as sukha rupam, when he starts imagining that what is impure by nature as something that can be, that is pure and very good, and it is upadeyam. So this is what he imagines. And then finally, to top it all, where he confuses that what is not the self for the self. So these are the four aspects of karya vidya, meaning avidya means ignorance. Karyam means the effect. It is something which comes, you can always say because of. Whenever you can have this clause because of, it immediately becomes an effect. It becomes an effect. So because of not knowing the rope, one knows it as snake. Because of not knowing, there is the delusion of snake. Okay. Why did you do this mistake of calling the rope as snake? Because you did not know. And therefore there is karana vidya and there is karya vidya. So we have seen both the aspects. Now furthermore, karma. In the Puryashtakam, once again let us go through that. What all things? The first one is Bhuta Sukshma Panchakam, the panchayat of the five subtle elements, Bhuta Sukshma Panchakam, then Pancha Jnanendriya Panchakam, the panchayat of organs of knowledge, then the panchayat of the organs of action, then the panchayat of the pranas, Antakarana Chatushtaya, the quadrate or quadrupulate, the quadrupulate of the four inner equipments: mind, intellect, chittam, and ahankar. These are the four: mana, buddhi, chitta, and ahankar. So now we have five, and we need three more, out of which one we have already covered, which is avidya. Now today's topic is karma. Okay, so we are going to see that karma. Okay. Narayana. Narayana. Oh, sorry. There is one more thing, and that is before we go to avidya, kama, and karma, there is kam. This is a very interesting sequence where, because of ignorance, because of not knowing that I am complete, purnam, limitless. So this ignorance makes the person search for satisfaction, fulfillment, sense of completeness. Why? Whether he is doing good or bad, religious or sacrilegious, does not matter. He is basically looking for sense of fulfillment. And this he is made to go out and beg, whether he is looking for that fulfillment from women or other pleasures, or from food and popularity, power and recognition, whatever he may feel that will bring him fulfillment is what he is going to chase. And therefore there is a desire. And so what is the cause of the desire? Ignorance is the cause of the desire. Another thing And that is whenever this desire really becomes very powerful, it will propel the mind, body to act so that it can be satiated. That desire can be satiated. And so therefore, there is avidya, the mother of all, ignorance, then kama, the desire, and then karma. Whether it is a physical action or a verbal action or a mental action, whichever action it may be, there will be an action. And therefore, so with that action means there is going to be aham karta, that I am the doer. This abhimana will be there. So now avidya, kam, karma, along with these five pentads, the Jnanendriya Panchakam, Bhuta Sukshma Panchakam, Jnanendriya Panchakam, Karmendriya Panchakam, Prana Panchakam, and Antakarna Chatushtayam, along with this, which is the subtle body, Avidya Kama Karma. Now, this cluster of 8 is called as Puryashtakam. We are today going to see what is Kama and Karma there. Kamo Raga. So 86, page number 86, that the line in the bold text, original text, Moola Grantha. Kamo Raga. What is Kama? Kama is called as Rag. Rag. Okay. Avivekena ahankara chidatmanoho tadatmyadhyas purvakam idam me bhuyad iti jayamana antakarana vritti vishesho ragaha. Now, he gives you a full dissection of that calm. Basically, calm, a desire means it is a particular modification of the mind. But how is that modification? It's a very interesting thing. You know, there is in Indian mythology, in our Puranas, this Kamadeva, the Cupid in Indian scriptures, Hindu scriptures, is not a small little baby with an arrow, but this is a fully grown-up man, very handsome, riding a parrot along with his consort Rati. And he holds the bow of a sugar cane and with the arrows of flowers. And there he shoots whosoever, and nobody is spared from his onslaught of the arrows. So only the jnani, who is really truly established in the self, such a jnani yogi, escapes the snare, the trap of this Kamadeva. This Kamadeva has got one more name, and it is called as Manoj. Manoj means the one which is born in the mind, or born from the mind. Manoj. Okay. And we also have seen from where this Kama has come, from Sankalpa. In the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, we have seen it's a family tree, Kama's family tree, and finally where it goes. Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha sangasteshu upajayate sangat sanjayate kamaha. Kama is born. Sangat sanjayate kamaha, kamat krodho vijayate, krodhat bhavati sammohaha, sammohat smriti vibhramaha, smriti vibhramshat buddhinasho, buddhinashat pranashyati. That's what is its final destination of this karma? To make that person incapable of functioning. So when the karma goes to that level, now the person becomes totally incapable of even functioning in this empirical world. On an empirical level, also he is destroyed. Now, so this karma, he gives you one more subtler understanding to this karma, and it is manoja, born in the mind. So karma, desire over here. It is, he says, is antakarana vritti vishesha. It is a modification of mind. One peculiar, specific vishesha, a specific modification of the mind, meaning antakarana vritti vishesha, ragaha, and it is also what we call as rag. Okay, not the Marathi raga. In Marathi, the meaning of word raga means krodha. But it is not the word raga over here simply is calm, colored. Okay. Once when the desire has colored the mind, the person is not able to see the world clearly as the world is, because there is a filter of desire. Now, अविवेकेन अहंकार चिदात्मनोः तादात्म्याध्यासपूर्वकमिदं मे भूयात्. And how is it, what is the form of this desire? Idam me bhuyat. May I get this? May I have this? Idam me bhuyat. May I have this? Whatever, now that this is actually a fill in the blanks. Put anything. I want money. May I have money? May I have this girlfriend? May I have this wife? May I have a bigger house? May I have more money? May I have even more money? So it goes. So avivekena ahankara chidatmanoho tadatmyadhyasa purvakam idam me bhuyaditi jayamanam antakarana vritti vishesho ragaha. So basically it is one antakarana vritti visheshaha. How is it born? This is interesting. He says now this karma is born through the tadatmyam. Now you will get that word tadatmyam. We have already done a lot of mathapachi on this. We have already done a lot of that work on the word tadatmyam vinnatve sati abhinnatvam. That is called as tadatmyam. Where is this tadatmyam seen of what? Ahankara chidatmanoho. Now you know the ahankara is one, that sense of limited existence is ahankara, which expresses as karta and bhokta, the agency of doership and the agency of experiencership is ahankara. Now, between this ahankara and the consciousness that I am, there seems to be something that like the tadatmyam. Vinnatve sati abhinnatvam. There is a tadatmyam. This tadatmyam is the cause for the mind to modify as kama, as a desire. Okay, as a desire. So now, if the ahankara is that I am a dog, then naturally the desire will be, let me sniff the food. If the ahankara is I am the cat, let me search for a mouse. If the ahankara is I am an elephant, let me display my power. If that ahankara is I am a mosquito, let me suck the blood of this human being. Okay? Depending upon what that ahankara is, now there is going to be the desire. And therefore, where is this desire? How is this desire born? It is born from, Puja Gurudev used to say, the unholy wedlock. It is the unholy wedlock. Unholy wedlock. Avivekena ahankara chidatmanoho tadatmyatyasa purvaka. So thus it comes from this superimposition of the tadatmyam. Actually, there is tadatmyam is also not there. It is only a superimposed tadatmyam. And from that superimposed tadatmyam, desire is born. And what is its form? Idam me puyat. May I have this. So this is what is called as the kam. So after avidya, the next one which was explained now is kam. And the word used is rag. Okay. Now we go to the third one. Karma. Avidya, kam and karma. So naturally we have seen if there is ignorance, it will give birth. There will be what? Calm. It will result in calm. That is going to be the result. Calm. Then from that calm, there is going to be karma. When the desire really becomes powerful, it is going to propel the body mind equipment in its search for its fulfillment. And therefore now there is going to be the action. Karma trivit. He says the karma is threefold. Now the division of karma that the author is showing us is not the physical karma, the verbal karma, and that is all there. The whole thing is going to be that. But he is taking you into one more aspect of the karma, and he says, karma strividham sanchita agami prarabdha. Okay, this is more interesting. Such that because it is an advanced one. Something that is just simple like that. The actions are threefold. The actions performed by the body, the action performed by your speech, and the action performed through the mind. Now, this is something that is that one can easily understand even without a teacher. If somebody says, "Who did it?" This fellow. Who said that? He's going to raise his hand and he's going to say, I did it. I did that job of saying." So now he recognizes speech as an action. 10. Whose idea was that? Who created that idea? This fellow raises mine. I have done it. So now he takes that credit of being the agent of a mental action. You see? So that does not require a teacher to tell you, to show you that the actions are physical, verbal, and mental. But at this point, we are going to look at an aspect of the karma which, without the Shastra, no one can explain. And so that is that is the Pramanam Shastra is over here. Karma Trividham. Karma, word by itself. Karma, karmani, karmani. So this is how it is, it moves. So don't say karmam or anything. Okay, it is karma only. It is not karmam. Karma, karma trividha. People have got that funny notion that you add to anything, it becomes as if it is Sanskrit or some visarga. It sounds like Sanskrit. In one of the walls, they had written Om Namah Shivayam. So saying Namah Shivaya is not Sanskrit according to this fellow. He said Namah Shivayam. Karma Trividaha. Okay. Karma Trividaha. Sanchita Agami Prarabdha Chaiti. What is that threefold division? Sanchita, Agami, and Prarabdha. You know, new words are being added to your vocabulary. Now, these words will be used. We have to use these words, and not very difficult. If you understand the concept, the word also will be understood. Okay, so the word will be remembered. Oh, this is too difficult. Hey, it is difficult because you have not given sufficient attention to understanding what is conveyed by the word. What is conveyed by the word, if is understood now, that word will also remain with you in your memory and you can use it. Okay. Dharma trivitham sanchita agami prarabdha chaiti. In the commentary section, karma vibhajate karma iti. Traividyam eva aha. And there is only Traividyam. Traividyam eva. There is only threefold karma. Now you cannot have a fourth one, fifth one, anything. Traividyam aha. तो वैसे तो उन्होंने किया हुआ है the yoga sutras. Sanchitam iti asanchita agami prarabdham chaiti sanchitam nirupayati. Now the teacher turns to explain what is sanchita karma. Karma is threefold. But so now we are going to say sanchita karma. What is sanchita karma? In the original text, Swakrit on 87, okay. Swakritam phalam atatva adrishtarupena vidyamanam sanchitam karma yatha sandhyavandanagnihotrati swakritam phalam atatva. Now, a person does any kind of action, whether physical, mental, verbal, any action, or all together. Now, in that, those actions are bound to bring their results. Are bound to bring the results because it is an action, it will have its result, reaction. But before the result of the action comes, there seems to be a gap. Now the Shastrakaras are going to say, if this karma is going to be said as to be the cause of that particular result, consequence, then the action should be present immediately before the result comes. Okay? Because that is how the Karya Karana Bhava is already established. That the Karanam, the cause has to be there a moment before the effect comes into existence. So therefore, now the action already has finished and the result is little away, or the result has come much later. How do you say that this action is the cause? And therefore the Shastrakaras now are going to show you that when an action is performed, the action will have an immediate consequence, and another one is that it will have a long-term consequence. Is the sound okay? Mahadev, can somebody please report to me this you are able to hear?
Yes, it is okay, Swami.
It is okay, Swamiji.
सुनाई दे रहा है?
Yes, Swamiji.
हाँ?
Yes, Swamiji, we can hear
Okay,
you.
okay. As long as the microphone of this phone is working fine, the speaker has on totally. Anyway, so where are we? So now, the Shastra Tara say that there is something called as the punya. Now the karma is finished, the action has already finished. but it has come in the form of a potential. It is in the form of a potential that is going to give the result, or that is going to modify into the result. This is the potential. Now, if the karma is going to be according to dharma, now this potential is called as punyam. If the action is not in accordance with the Shastra, with the scriptures, it is going to be adharma, and this potential is called as papa. Okay? So this Shastra says Brahman, Omantavya, a learned Brahmin, etc., should not be killed because the Brahmin is a learned person. He is a repository of a storage of the knowledge, etc., and of virtues, and therefore he is a beacon of light to the society. So such a person should not be harmed. He should not be killed, or he should not be harmed. Brahmanandahantavya. You may feel that you have an enmity, you may have jealousy, you may, but nahantavya under any circumstances. So this is the injunction is there is a prohibition. So that what is prohibited by the Shastra, if a person takes to it, now this will become papa. So this potential is papa. What happens with these two potentials, the punya and papa? This the punya will result in experience of joy, and the papa will fructify as an experience of dukkham, and therefore papa brings dukkham, punya brings joy. Got it? Now, this is the action. And so this papa and punya, both these potentials are not something that you can observe and see. You can't see. You can understand, but it cannot be seen, measured, and therefore it is called as adrashtam. It is called as adrashtam. So, swakritam karma, the actions which are done by the person, now when they are just existing as potentials to give the results, to fructify in the form of experiences of joys and sorrows. There it is just existing as potentials. Now, this adrashta, which is just potential, sitting, waiting, is called as sanchita karma. So how does the teacher say? Swakritam. The karma which is swakritam. Nobody else is. If you are, no one is responsible for your happiness or for your dukkham. They can become excuses. They can become nimitta. They can become an excuse for this adrishtam to give the result. But actually the result will be given only by adrishtam. And therefore, if somebody who has understood the law of karma, he cannot, even that, the psychology will change, and the person will not blame anyone for his dukkha. Generally, look at these terrorists. They want to punish the world for what? Now the terrorist is going to say we are not punishing, we are simply following what the head of that terrorist organization is saying, that go kill these people and so on and so forth. We are going to do this. And so now he feels that his experience of celestial, that heavenly joy of enjoying those women and wine and food and music in that heaven which is kept, because it's the whole description looks like some big party, and so that in order so that he can enjoy all these things, now he is going to follow what the God has said. God said that those people who don't believe in me, have them killed. And so now let us do that. So now this person is basically displeased. Why? Because he discovers that he is unhappy. And if he is unhappy, the world is supposed to make me happy. The world now is not making me happy. Then I will destroy, because this is the only way I can reach heaven. And over there, the Anatma Padartha can give me, deliver me happiness. So he is basically a frustrated man. Okay. It is a psychology of frustration. Frustration and emotional exploitation. What else? Why would you want to do this? Why are you punishing the world? Because this world is supposed to give me happiness, it is not giving me happiness. And therefore I want to punish the world. Now look at this. This is the terrorist psychology. What we may not have actions which are as dire and cruel like the terrorists, but do we also not share the similar kind of traits in our psychology? When we are saying that I'm unhappy because of him, because of her, because of that, because of my childhood, so on and so forth, when a person keeps on blaming, now that person will have a built up anger against the world, against the people, and therefore you will very often find that a person is more angry at his own parents, who for all their lives must have perhaps toiled hard to make the ends meet, and yet he feels that, I'm angry at my parents because they did not give me sufficient affection. But do you know, it is your own karma that has brought you to these parents who could now become the excuses for you to experience pain and sorrow. Or it is the papa and punya. Very often you will hear in Indian, common parlance, and that is people will say, Mera karma, mother bhagya, mother karma, who hinders mother. I've come across this, my karma, my destiny. So it is sanchita karma. Sanchitam means swakritam phalam atatva adrishtarupena vidyamanam sanchitam karma. This is called as sanchitam. What is called as agami karma? Agami karma means asmin sharire kriyamanam karma. That which is done. Now, there is already innumerable lives have and actions of innumerable potentials are waiting over there. Potentials of innumerable actions waiting to give result. But when when one particular type of karma or a group of karma fructifies, it will result in a particular type of a life, body, etc. Now, having got this body, one still continues to do the karma, to still stay as the agent, doer of the karma. And therefore, whatever is the action performed by living in this body is called as agami karma. Is called as agami karma. This agami will also go and become sanchita karma. So asmin sharire kriyamanam karma agami. Then vartamana sharirarambhakam prarabdha karma. Now, what is called as prarabdha? Prarabdha means prakarshena arabdha, that which has already started, which has which has started fructifying very intensely. So, what is it that you see? The experiences gained through this body and as this body. So, therefore, this is called as prarabdha. Vardhamana Sharira the karma which is responsible for this the present body to be there and has seated in this body. Now I am experiencing human joys and human sorrows. You are not sitting in a body of a mosquito to experience the mosquito joy and mosquito sorrow. Okay? Can you imagine the joy of mosquito having Chinese food? So whenever there are these tourists from China, mosquito is very happy. Today we are going to have Chinese food, Italian food, Indian food, South Indian food. Ah, today what is there? Only chola bhatura. So Punjabi. So now look at that. You cannot have the joy of a mosquito or the suffering of a mosquito because you are not in that body. So, in order to experience this human joys and human sorrows, you will have to be in a human body. And this human body now is, whichever presently that you are having, is what? Vartamana Sharira Arambham. It is the result of Prarabdha Karma. It is what? The result of Prarabdha Karma. Furthermore. Sanchita Agami Karmano फलभोगेन विरोधिकर्मान्तरेण वा ब्रह्मज्ञानेन वा विनाशः. Now over there are some printing mistakes, typo. Please correct them. फलभोगेन विरोधिकर्मान्तरेण वा, because it is atva, it's giving a vikkal. Va. Brahmajnanena, not va. It is again va. Vinashah. संचितागामी कर्मणों फलभोगेन विरोधि कर्मांतरेण वा ब्रह्मज्ञानेन वा विनाशः. Now we have seen three karmas: sanchita, agami, and prarabdha. Now he says that with regard to sanchita karma and agami karma, so we are not the prarabdha karma is still kept separated. Now, these two karmas can be destroyed. How can they be destroyed? Phalabhogena, by waiting for it to fructify. And when it fructifies, it will fructify as prarabdha. So, waiting for it to become prarabdha, or it can be nullified by virodhi karma. By virodhi karma. Virodhi karma means a karma of opposite nature. Of opposite. If you are suffering, then that suffering can be, or if there can be a potential which is waiting only as a potential for suffering, can be nullified. That can be nullified by doing some punya. So now when this punya goes, it will neutralize this particular papa karma. Also, if there is some punya that you have done, and then there is another papa which you are doing now or you have done, this papa may also nullify the punya. So we know that they have the power to cancel each other. But which one will cancel whom? That which is more powerful will cancel the less powerful. If the punya is more powerful, the papa will get cancelled. But if the papa is more powerful, the punya will get cancelled. And so, sanchitagami karmanoho salabhogena, either wait for it to fructify or virodhi karmantarena, by doing the karma of the opposite nature. Virodhi karmantarena va, from and the karmas can be destroyed through brahmashtanam, to the knowledge of the self. When one comes to know that this and sees it very clearly, that this Atma that I am is neither the doer nor the experiencer, but I am that consciousness in which the world of all these beings, names, and forms appears and disappears. That is what is I am. In having this Brahma Jnanam, the karma will be destroyed, sanchita karma. So, sanchita and agami karma, both sanchita and agami karma is destroyed how? Either through bhoga, through virodhi karmantara, or through brahmajnanam. He says, prarabdhasya tu bhogenaiva vinashaha. But the prarabdha will have to be finished through what? Undergoing that experience. Now it has already begun. Hey, it has already started. So prarabdhasya tu bhogenaiva vinashaha. It will finish, but it will finish by bhog. And therefore now whatever is coming in your life, instead of crying, grieving, have fortitude, face it, and remember that we are in this world so that we can we can discover liberation. We are not over here to create more karma and continue this wretched existence as a jiva. No, keep that in mind. And therefore, the, why my prarabdha is like this, why my prarabdha is like this. Hi, Baba, it is your prarabdha. You have done it. Hi, and you did it because you thought that this papa is going to be the cause of your punya, is the cause of your sukham. And therefore you did the wrong karma for the right consequences. If the karma is going to be wrong, how can it deliver you right consequences? And therefore, because of this delusion, you rejected the advice of the Shastra, and now you are sitting over here with these situations, trapped in the situations like this. And so, prarabdhasya tu bhogenaiva vinashaha. Therefore, while undergoing the prarabdha, have the fortitude, have what? The courage, fortitude, right? Now, whatever it is, it has to finish. प्रारब्धस्य तु भोगेनैव विनाशः विरोधि कर्मान्तरेण अथवा ब्रह्मज्ञानेन तस्य न विनाशः. Now that Evakara is saying that through prarabdha, the prarabdha will be destroyed just like this. There is no other way. Okay. Now this is we are going to so the line from the Mula Grantha we have seen. Now let us go to the commentary section. Avashyameva bhoktavyam kritam karma shubham nabhuktam shriyate karma kalpakoti shatairapi Rama. Avashyameva bhoktavyam. Hey, there is one will have to undergo that experience. Bhoktavyam. Avashyam eva bhoktavyam. Cannot escape. One will have to escape. Whether if it is punyam, you cannot escape its consequence, which is joy. If it is papa, its consequence is going to be misery. But one wants to escape that. No, the karma will deliver its result. Avashyameva bhoktavyam. Karma kritam shubha shubham, whether it is auspicious or inauspicious, shubham or ashubham, whether it is punya karma or papa karma, that karma phalam is avashyameva. Nabhuktam shiyate. Nabhuktam means no abhuktam, that which is not experienced, that karma will not finish. If it just remains, it will become outdated and one day it will go away. No, where it will wait for to give its result. Whether in this life, or next cycle of time, it will come back. That is how this karma is. So, kalpakoti shatairapi prayaschittarapai yeno yashyana kritam bhaved apato vyavasaryastu vachanadi jayate. Now, we have said there is another way of overcoming or destroying the sanchita and agami karma. And that is, there are three ways. One is by actually waiting for it to fructify and undergo the experience A. B, by doing the virodhi karma and C, through the brahmachyana. Now, this point is being brought to you by this particular line of the verse. Prayaschitta apaityena. Enaha means papa. That enaha, that papa is removed by prayaschitta. Yadajnana kritam bhaved, that which has happened through you because of ignorance. So yadajnana kritam bhaved, kamato vyavaharyastu, and whether it was done willingly or unknowingly, knowingly or unknowingly, doing that, vyavaharyastu vachanadivitayate. That whatever it may be, it will be destroyed by what? By the prayaschitta, by the action of what do they call it? Atonement. By the action of atonement. Shiyante chasakarmani tasmin tashte paravare papamanam sarvapapamanam yamani sarvakarmani bhasmasa kurte tatha. So now it was said there are these three things, either by undergoing the experience or by creating the counter karma or by through the brahmacyanam. These were the three ways in which the sanchita karma and agami karma can be dealt with, and for which he gives one example over here as the pramana. The first one is the Shastra's verse where it is said one cannot escape but will have to experience. And by experiencing it, the karma finishes. Okay? So even when you are suffering now, have that fortitude that, at least the papa karma is finishing. At least that papa karma is finishing. And so, next one is by doing the, to bring the counter effect action of atonement, which is called as prayaschitta. And then finally, it is through brahmajnanam, through knowing that Atma is Brahman, The karma is agami and sanchita karma is destroyed in what is shown. So we will look at this part when we meet tomorrow and something more about the prarabdha karma. We will come to it, not through these lines on page 97 itself. Om Purnamada Om Brahmanam Yaprasadena Mai Vishwam Prakalpikam Srimat Swayam Prakalashakyam Pranavami Jagataguru Yat Paramatma Jagat Srishtva Pravivesha Puraswayam Ankrishnam Tatyagatmanam Vande Gopi यस्य प्रसादमद्वयात्मा विश्वं समस्तं मयि कल्पितं च तं सर्वलोकैकगुरुं सदास्मि स्वयं प्रकाशं गुरुमानतोऽस्मि गुरूणां चरणाम्भोजं प्रणिपत्य निरन्तरं कृपादेशभूद्वैतं चिन्ताभवस्मि पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं पादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति योगमध्यात्मदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः. Thank you very much.